Today I will go through every weapon used in Blackout and I will give you detailed damage stats, my rankings, and tell you when I think they are good to use and so on. I will spend more time on the weapon categories I think are important and less time on the other ones. I'm gonna start off talking about headshot damages really quick. I think it's important to note that all weapons in Black Ops 4 have a really low headshot multiplier, sitting around 1.1, except snipers that seems to have something around 1.5, bolt action snipers one-shotting to the head, and even semi-automatic ones doing more damage to the head. So AR or LMG makes 3 more damage when you hit a headshot compared to a body shot, which makes headshots quite irrelevant except if they do have level 1 or 2 armor, since it doesn't protect the head. And talking about the ammo, the bigger the bullet, the faster bullet spin it has, which means less lead and less bullet drop. For example, a KN with 7.62 ammo have a faster bullet speed than a 5.56 ICR. And SDM with .338 ammo have a faster bullet speed than an Auger using 7.62. Same with 50 cal as well, it's the fastest bullet in the game compared to 338, and so on. With that out of the way, let's dive into the weapon categories, starting off with assault rifle. I think all of the ARs are pretty good balance and it's more about personal preference. However, I still think a few are just straight out better. There are 6 different assault rifles in Blackout: ICR, Vapor, Maddox, KN, Rampart, and the Galil. Most of the people favorize the ICR, however my favorite AR is the KN. It's quite similar to the ICR, just a little bit more recoil and a slower rate of fire, however it hits harder and uses the 7.62 ammo. It's a well-rounded AR that works really good for most scenarios, but in close quarter scenarios it's definitely not my favorite. Then we have the ICR, the most popular AR, and it's for a reason. The lowest recoil out of all the ARs, really easy to use, and it's super versatile. A little faster rate of fire than the KNs, I would say it's a bit better in close quarter, and I just think this is a great overall easy gun to use that I would recommend to all new players starting off. Then we have the Vapor, similar to the ICR but has a slightly more recoil, and it feels better for close range in my opinion, but it lacks a bit more on further ranges because of the recoil. And one of the favorite things with the Vapor is the iron sight. I actually love the iron sight on Vapor, it's pretty damn good. Then we have the Maddox. I'm actually quite surprised to see this one in the assault rifle category because it's basically a SMG. The highest mag size with 40 and the fastest rate of fire out of all the ARs with the same bullet damage as the SMGs. I would not recommend this gun since the range is awful and it does have some horizontal recoil, so it makes it harder to use on range and you're gonna lose damage quick over range. However, it's a great AR for closer ranges, but then I would rather use a SMG. The Rampart, my least favorite AR. It has quite high recoil, but recently it actually got buffed, making it super strong to tap fire with. It got the same bullet damage as the KN, but it got the slowest rate of fire out of all the ARs. The longest optimal range out of all the ARs, so it's great for medium to long range. And if you like the tap fire, this gun is a beast. And since it uses 7.62, the bullet speed is really good for AR. Last but not least, we have the rarest assault rifle out there, so rare that I barely got in any gameplay with it myself despite having a lot of game time. Its name is Grav, also known as Galil. Only found in mystery box from zombie location, and that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't found it, because I don't really farm zombie locations. And it's kind of a vanilla gun, so you can't use any attachment on it at all. I've seen some gameplay on it and it kind of looks good, but since I have no attachments, I just don't feel like it's good enough because I'm not a big fan of iron sights. But yeah, since it doesn't have that, it should have some pretty good bullet damage, but I'm not sure about that actually. But yeah, if you manage to find it, make sure to try it out. There are 4 snipers in Blackout, 3 bolt action ones, Paladin, Outlaw, and Koshka. And then we have a semi-automatic sniper called SDM. I would definitely say that the SDM is the most powerful one and versatile one. It deals 95 damage to the body, resulting in a 2-shot kill majority of the time. Since it uses .338 ammo, the bullet speed is really fast compared to a similar gun Auger. I would even say that the SDM is the most powerful gun in the game right now. If you can master the recoil, it's just a beast. And you can even use a 2x scope or iron sight, making it really lethal in closer ranges as well. Then we have 3 bolt action snipers. Personally, I kinda prefer Paladin since I'm a big fan of 50 cal snipers. It has the least amount of bullet drop, which makes Paladin the best sniper for super long range. And the highest damage out of them all, doing 140 damage to the body if they don't have armor. However, the scoping time is the slowest. Then we have the Outlaw, which is the best bolt action sniper in the game with the fastest V-chamber / rate of fire out of all bolt action snipers. So you can get way more shots in compared to a Paladin or even a Koshka. So in some scenarios you can actually stay zoom in and just fire away and it will be really fast. It also got the biggest magazine, giving you 14 rounds with an extended mag. Then we have the Koshka. It doesn't really win any categories against the other bolt action snipers except the handling category. It is the fastest scoping sniper by default, and despite that you can even have a grip that makes the ADS even faster. So if you like to quick scope or be able to scope fast, Koshka would be your choice. All in all, I think all of the snipers in the right hands are really powerful since they all one-shot kill to the head and deal a lot of damage just for hitting body shots. So it's especially good in duo or squads since your friends can just deal out the final damage needed if you hit a body shot. From the range dominant weapon class to the close quarter dominators, SMGs. There is 6 SMGs, Cordite, MX9, Spitfire, SOG, GKS and MP40. I gotta say, I was not impressed with SMGs at the start of Blackout, however after playing it more and more, I feel like SMGs are super good and a safer bet than the shotguns, since it's way more forgiving. SMG really shines against no armor. If your opponent has armor, they're a bit weaker since it takes so many bullets to destroy a full durability armor. So a good strategy would be to hit them a bit with a bigger gun than just push with an SMG and just finish them off when the armor is low or even destroyed. Then we have the SOG. It used to be my favorite SMG, mainly because the hipfire crosser was the tightest and it's just really insane to hipfire with. It did get a nerf recently, but it's still really strong at that. So if you just want a hipfire round, I would definitely suggest the SOG. After that we have the Cordite. It's your typical P90 SMG that has a huge magazine and just feels really solid overall. Nothing more to say about this gun really. And then we have the Spitfire, and after starting to play it recently, I gotta say it's one of my favorite guns in the whole game. And I'm not the biggest fan of SMGs, especially in BR. It got the highest rate of fire and that's the only thing it got going for it. However, it got the same bullet damage as most of the other SMGs, which makes the DPS possibilities insane with this gun if you can control it and hit all the shots. Also, it's the only SMG that can equip an extended fast mag, which is really good. It got the highest recoil out of all the SMGs, but they recently tuned that down a bit, but it still got the hardest recoil. And it got the lowest range, and just everything else it's just not that good in. But the fact it still have that high bullet damage for the rate of fire just makes it a beast. And if you land all your shots, you can't be outclassed in its optimal range unless you get one-shotted by a MOG or a sniper to the head. So would definitely recommend this gun. Then we have the MX9. Nothing too special, just your typical well-rounded SMG with a low recoil, decent range, and just average at everything. Probably one of the last SMGs I would pick up. It's just average in everything and doesn't really excel in anything special. Then we have GKS, a low recoil SMG with the highest optimal range out of all the SMGs. Another SMG I personally wouldn't pick up. When I choose to pick up a SMG, I want it for close quarter domination and nothing else. I want to be in people's face and just have really fast rate of fire. This gun doesn't really give you that. It feels more like a SMG AR hybrid, to be honest. Then there's a special zombie gun, MP40, obtained only from the zombie chest, so it's quite rare. Same as the grab, you can't use any weapon attachments on it. Actually, I had this gun a few times, but I never liked it. Slow rate of fire and only iron sight, which made it quite hard for me to track enemies a lot of times. And it just overall didn't feel that good for SMG. But if you find it, make sure to give it a try since it's quite rare. Talking more about close quarter guns, we have 2 shotguns, one semi-automatic one called SG12 and one pump shotgun called MOG12. Both shotguns are really powerful and it's more about personal preference and playstyle, I would say. However, I must say that the SG12 just seems superior in most cases since the pump shotgun almost never one-shots unless you're super close and hit all your pellets on a target with no body armor. The pump is a reliable 2-shot though, but if you miss one shot with it, you're basically dead since the rate of fire is so slow. I always been a bigger fan of pump action shotguns though, so that's what I personally go with most of the times. And you play it a bit differently, you jump around more, shoot a bullet, go in cover, and just repeat, right? But yeah, with SG12, as I said, you can just go crazy and just spam it, and it's way more forgiving than the MOG12. And time to kill is just way faster unless you one-shot with the MOG, which is so rare. And the hipfire is really strong on the shotguns, especially on the SG12. You can even equip a laser sight. Something worth to know is that when you ADS your shotgun, the spread will be super tight, so you can actually do a lot of damage on longer ranges than you think, especially if you equip an extended barrel on a MOG12. But I would recommend the hipfire most of the time unless it's far away, because the hipfire is actually really good with the shotguns. Then we have the tactical rifles. There are 4 tactical rifles in the game: Auger, ABR, Swordfish, and ESSEC model. During the beta, Auger was my go-to gun. It was super powerful back then, pretty good hipfires, even close it was alright. And medium range, super good as well. It lacked on other ranges though, compared to snipers, but it was still alright. And since then, I don't feel it is as good anymore, even though it recently got buffed. My favorite tactical rifle is definitely the ABR. It's a free burst tactical rifle. Feels more like it should be in the assault rifle class with its 38 damage per bullet, which is super high. However, since it's not in the AR class, you can actually hold your breath and even use a sniper rifle scope on it. helmets. So it's actually quite impressive with a little to no recoil at mid and long range. I've seen this been favorized a lot on console, and after using it for a while I understand why. It's quite the laser beam with a high bullet damage. Then we have the Swordfish, a 4-burst tactical rifle quite similar to the ABR, but personally I barely used it because I would always take a ABR instead or any other gun. The times I have used Swordfish I just feel like ABR is just better in every way. Like the 4-burst doesn't really feel that good compared to the 3-burst. The recoil feels better on the ABR, the bullet damage is higher, so I would definitely recommend the ABR over Swordfish. Then we have the Auger. Feels like a semi-automatic sniper with low recoil but low damage. Used to love this gun, but with addition of SDM I would always pick the SDM over it. If you want a semi-automatic sniper with low recoil that's spammable, then yeah, this is definitely your choice. Then we have the special zombie gun, SEC Model 07, a lever tactical rifle that comes with 5 rounds. You get this from zombie spots and even zombies can drop them. You can't equip any weapon mods. It's a cool gun and all, but I think it's really horrible. I would not recommend you to pick it up. It's good enough to farm people that are already dead though, called zombies. Then we have LMGs. Never really liked them in Blackout or in COD overall actually, so I haven't played them that much and I wouldn't recommend them at all actually. I think all of the other classes just do everything better. But there are 4 LMGs, VKM, Titan, Hades and Zweihander. Starting off with the VKM, which is in my opinion the worst LMG, even though it actually uses 50 cal ammo, which seems great on paper. However, the recoil is quite insane on this thing and it fires really slow. It feels like a LMG sniper, so the strongest point should be on longer ranges with tap fire, but it just doesn't feel like good, and I would definitely use like a DMR instead, right? Then we have the Hades. If I had to choose one LMG, this would probably be my choice. It feels more like an AR than an LMG, better for medium range and even alright at closer ranges. I just feel like any AR would just be way better than this gun. And we have Titan. Doesn't have too much recoil, but it doesn't feel that accurate when I tried it, and it excels at mid and long range. Not a good close quarter either, since it's a slow fire LMG. Used to be really good in the beta, but it got nerfed hard, so yeah, wouldn't recommend either. Then we have the zombie gun Zweihander. Quite similar to Hades, but it's another zombie gun, so you can't equip any weapon mods on it, which makes it quite bad in my opinion. I heard from some people that would find this powerful, and others say it's trash, and I would definitely say it feels really, really bad. I feel personally that it's not that impressive, and I would rather pick the Hades if I had the option. It's a pretty cool gun, and it still works to kill zombies with at least, so you got that going for it with its big mag. Talking about probably the most boring weapon class in the game, pistols. Actually did manage to get an 8 kill win with only pistols. If you guys are interested in that, you can check the video in the top right. I would definitely not recommend to try that, but it was quite fun though. So there's 3 different pistols in Blackout. We got Strife, Mosu, and RK7. Usually you only use pistols early game in this game because I don't feel like they have too much purpose later on. It's just the other guns are just better. They're not that bad, but why would you use a pistol, right? But I mean, the hipfire is quite impressive on them all, but I mean, in the end, it's just pistols. I don't think there's too much to talk about here, actually. It can be quite fun with a fully modded Mosu, but it's really hard to use though, but yeah. Then there's 2 special weapons in Blackout. We got the rocket launcher and the grenade launcher. The rocket launcher can be found anywhere on the map, while the grenade launcher is only located in supply drops. The rocket launcher is great for killing vehicles since it has auto-tracking rockets. Just aim at the vehicle and wait till it locks and then fire away and it will track it. It also does really good damage if you manage to direct hit the rocket on the player, but if you hit the ground and get splash damage, it's not that impressive unless it's really close. I mean, I would not recommend the rocket launcher for killing people unless you're trolling, but for vehicles it's really good. Then we have the grenade launcher. It's your typical noob tube, really spammable and does really good damage. Even destroy people with tier 3 armor with this thing. It's really good against campers as well. If they just sit in a corner, you can just spam them with it. But keep in mind the ammo is limited to 6 when you get it from the supply drop. So if you manage to find it, use the ammo wisely. And don't forget, it's a quest item for unlocking the character battery as well. So if you're interested in some tips about that, you can check the video in the top right corner. Then we have melee weapons. So they recently added the bowie knife to Blackout, making it the first melee weapon in Blackout. It's a 1-hit kill even against people with armor. I tested it for a little bit and I had great success with it actually. As long as you can get to melee range, it's just an easy one-shot kill. However, they did rework how the melee works, so sometimes it just misses when it feels like it shouldn't, so that can be a bit annoying. But other than that, I feel like it's super good if you can just get close, and a lot of times you can actually get close, especially if you use concussion grenades, skulker, dead silence and stuff like that. So I would definitely give this a try. And the bowie knife is located in zombie locations. And yeah, that's all of the weapons and weapon categories. So to finish the video off, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my favorite weapons. So my favorite weapons are the Spitfire, KN, Outlaw, and SDM. And I also like to use the MOG occasionally. And I would give an honorable mention to the ICR, Paladin, Koshka, and ABR. And looking at my favorite loadout, that would most likely be a Spitfire with the Outlaw, and then use a 2x and a sniper scope on the Outlaw, just swapping depending on range. I just think that's such a good loadout. Or just use a KN and Spitfire. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It did take quite some time for me to make this video, so sadly I should have done this video like 1 month ago, but I always delayed it, but finally it's done. So yeah, if you're interested in more guides, I do have another guide which I think will be my best Blackout guide so far, and it's gonna be really good. So stay tuned for that around next week, I think. And yeah, if you have any questions about any weapons or anything, just put it in the comment section below and I will gladly answer it. And yeah, have a nice day and catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like my content and want to support financially, you can check out my Patreon. And if that's not enough, you can find me streaming daily on twitch.tv/widdz. Have a nice day.